Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have here an article from Sputnik about a French historian who predicts something that very well could come true. I'm inclined to think that half of it is true and the other half of his prediction could happen, but hard and in time. So what am I talking about? Let me show you this article coming from Sputnik. It is from today, the 7th of January. Man, time passes so fast. The 7th of January 2024. French historian predicts imminent NATO defeat in Ukraine. Russia-Europe reconciliation. Not impossible, but how are you going to break away from your boss, which is Al Capone? A renowned French historian and sociologist, better known for predicting the Soviet Union's dissolution well in advance, now foretells the West's overthrow in his newest book. French historian Emmanuel Todd believes that NATO is already losing the Ukrainian conflict. He likewise concluded that the defeat would eventually culminate in Russia's reconciliation with Europe and its reapproachment with Germany, contrary to the wishes of the United States. And how are they going to do it? These guys have troops over there, they got weasels in power, and they have probably the mass media as well. This view was expressed to the Le Point magazine during an interview ahead the release of his new book, La Défaite de l'Occident, the defeat of the Occident, the Occident. Is that how I say Occident? The West. The defeat of the... Okay, thank you, Emil. You see that? The defeat of the West. Okay. Captain Obvious. In the book, he denounces the Western attitude towards Russia, stating that, and I'm quoting, avoiding the rapprochement between Germany and Russia was one of the US's goal. We all know that one. The rapprochement would have signed the ejection of the United States from the European system of power. Americans have preferred to destroy Europe rather than save the West, end quote. They take over. It's not going to be saving the West. They take over. It's not about saving anybody. It's about I will take over you and I will tell you what to do. Todd's La Défaite de l'Occident, like excerpt highlights America's waning status as a global superpower and its weak military-industrial complex. You see this picture? Remember this picture? When this imbecile, this weasel, landed in Kiev, and then there was the sirens, woo, and nobody cared. If there's a siren wailing around, that means that's an incoming attack, so you run to hide, but he didn't anyway. The French historian also underlined the diminished influence of Europe once represented by a strong partnership between France and Germany, highlighting that Germany has taken a dominant role since the 2007-2008 financial crisis. Furthermore, he pointed out that in the wake of the Ukrainian conflict, the European Union has distanced itself from Russia, therefore hurting its own trade and energy interests. I think this is very obvious. And I'm quoting, we also saw Emmanuel Macron's France vaporize on the international stage, while Poland became Washington's main agent. How do I call Poland? You remember? Washington, or Al Capone's Trojan horse. That's how I call it. So this guy calls him main agent in the European Union. Thank you very much. Right here. While Poland became Washington's main agent in the European Union, succeeding in the role of the United Kingdom that became outside the Union by the grace of Brexit. On the mainland, overall, the Paris-Berlin axis replaced a London-Warsaw-Kiev axis piloted from Washington. Todd opinioned. Todd decried the dominant narrative in the West about the conflict in Ukraine, and I'm quoting, we are in a completely Putinophobic and a Russophobic world, end quote. He went, how do I call them? Boogeyman. He went on to argue for a pluralistic view that recognizes different perspectives, and I'm quoting, I am fighting to keep the West pluralistic If we look for my values, they are values of truth and pluralism, he remarked, addressing the question of how this year's US election might alter the trajectory of the Ukrainian conflict. The expert highlighted Russia's steadfast commitment to its existing course, and I'm quoting, "For the Russians, it makes no difference, for Russia is at war with America, and they ignore changes in rules," according to Todd. Russia is at war with America. What did I say? Didn't I say the same thing all over and over? I mean, I think these things are obvious. It's not like, oh my God, I'm a genius. Let me put a medal right here or around my... No, it's not that. It's too obvious, but you have to say it and say it and say it, and you bring more evidence, and you try to, at least, how should I put it, gain some legitimacy when you have an expert or historian saying the same thing. It doesn't mean that we both reach the same conclusion and that conclusion is the correct one. But, you know, bringing more authority helps, I guess. And I'm 100% certain, I would say 99% because I don't like 100%, certain that indeed the prize is not Russia. The prize, the big prize is this right here. This is the prize. It's not Russia. Russia is just one step, and then it's going to be China, and probably they expect that after if, and I don't think that will not happen, defeat Russia, China will get the hint and shut the fuck up. That's what I think they think. Or maybe China will feel cornered, but the Americans will come and say, well, what are you going to do? See Russia over there in smoke? And we'll see how the Chinese will react. It was because the Chinese said clearly, we don't want a confrontation. We want business with you, but we keep our guns pointed at you. They're not stupid. I mean, they've been around for some thousands of years. So, and not only that, but they have their own, you know, Confucianism, Taoism, and so on. And then you can, Buddhism, you can just fuck them up as these guys think you can. But nevertheless, my friends, it's right. Russia is the first step, and they hope, these guys, that they do not have to do it again against China, which will get the hint. Russia will not, I think, will not be defeated like this. And if it resists, that's already a defeat for Al Capone. Who's Al Capone? It's not Al Capone, it's the guys behind Al Capone. Al Capone is just a means to a, goal or whatever, to an aim. Is that how it is? And that is that right here. And it's not Europe, that's the globe. And what's going to happen when the Russians are going to eventually break the front, and I think will impose their 4 points for which they invaded unprovoked Ukraine, okay? Then they will probably, this is where I said half of it, I'm not certain, which I don't think the Germans are able to break away from the US, Al Capone's prison. Al Capone has too many troops in Eastern Europe, and not only that, they will not leave. On the contrary, they say, see, they're coming, the Russians are coming, therefore you need us, we're going to help you. We're going to sell you LNG like a premium, 5 times the price the Russians are selling you. We're going to help you defeat the Russians right here. You pay, we stay here, okay? But you can't have troops on our territory. So here is, my friends, this is going to be harder with the Germany coming back to Russia. That's, I give it, if nothing major happens in United States of America, I think the whole thing, I give it 5%. 5% that Germany will be capable to say, sei ruhig, stop right here, take it easy, we're gonna do this. I don't think it's gonna happen. They're like this by Al Capone. No chance. Maybe France, but France is a little bit too far. We'll see. And weak. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.